Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. It is Tourism Tuesday with a twist. I have a returning guest. I am happy to see her face pre-recording with me on the Zoom screen. LaTasha Do'zia is here with me. She is the artistic director for the Selah Theatre Project. We're going to talk about the theater project and some upcoming events and Steel Magnolias. I'm so excited to talk about Steel Magnolias.
Awesome. So am I. Thanks for having us, Janet.
Joining us on the screen is Joanne Thompson. She is the production manager at Selah Theatre Project. Jessica Arnold is also joining us. Jessica, are you in the production of Steel Magnolias?
I am. I play Annelle.
So this is going to be awesome. So LaTasha, first, tell me what's been going on with Selah. What's been happening all through COVID? You guys have had to do a lot of things kind of off the cuff. Give me kind of give me an update of what's going on.
So it's been a year without an audience, of course, because of COVID. And as a performing arts venue, like many of us across the country, we haven't been able to do anything live or in person. So with COVID, we've been doing a lot of things virtually. We did a murder mystery online. We've done some classes online, trying to keep our audiences engaged as much as possible. So this is the first production that we are doing where the actors are actually in the theater and rehearsing and actually performing, but still no audience yet. So it will be online. So it's different than like a Zoom reading or a stage reading. The actors are actually in costume. There are lights, there's a set, and they have all of their lines memorized. So they're not sitting in front of a screen. You will be watching a live show, but it's just online for safety purposes.
Well, and it was kind of a double whammy for you guys because like you mentioned, you couldn't have the audience, which is an integral part whenever you're doing live theater. And at the same time, your actors couldn't actually perform in front of that audience. So you were losing all the way around.
Yeah, losing all the way around. And then we couldn't have kids for the longest time in classes. So like a lot of other local theaters and even some of the big theaters, it was a huge hit and it just didn't seem like the arts was a first priority at all. Sports came back quick, but the arts are, of course, the what they call it, the redheaded stepchild. So we are slowly but surely trying to make our way back. So we wanted to do our first live production, even though it's online, with an oldie but goodie that we did because this year we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, our 10-year birthday on June 6th, 2021. So we wanted to do an oldie but goodie, a show that we've done before. And in our season that we'll announce later, we're going to do a couple more oldie but goodies to celebrate our 10th year.
Does it make it easier or more complicated when you're doing a show this way that's live for you guys, but we're watching it online? Does that change how you decide what shows you're going to do?
Yeah, it changes. You have to be careful with what you choose to do. So we wanted to do something where it was in one situation, one set, where we didn't have to have multiple sets. And then the other thing was we still wanted it to be an ensemble piece so that, the audience can see multiple people and not just one forefront person. And of course, there's video editing that's involved with live theater. That's not something that we're used to doing. So there's a lot of, intro editing The actors get to stop and go, which is not a thing that they are used to either. So it's kind of like a mixture of live theater and the film industry all at the same time. So it's pretty unique and different. But, the one thing about COVID is that it has had to force us to think outside of the box and to be more creative than we were before.
So, Joanne, I'm guessing as production manager, you've learned some mad on the fly skills trying to figure out how to pull all this together.
First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Quite honestly, my role as production manager for this particular production has really not been as intense. I'm also in this production. I'm actually playing Malin. So focusing on ways to bring her to life has been my primary focus for this production.
So I'm going to ask both of you because Jessica, to me, looks like she's 12. So she can't possibly have the history with Steel Magnolias that we ladies probably do. Jessica, had you ever seen the movie or did you know anything about it when you were chosen for this role?
I actually had not seen the movie at that point, but I did read the script and I thought it was great. And then I watched some pieces of it. So I didn't have like a big history with it, but I had some familiarity.
So I got to tell you, LaTasha, one of the reasons why when I saw this come through my Instagram feed that I reached out to you is I'd always loved the movie. The movie's always been in my top 10 of favorite movies. But this production of Steel Magnolias is the very first live play I ever saw in an actual theater.
Wow.
And I'd never been to a play in a theater. My first theater experience was just down the road, actually, at Winchester Little Theater. And it was Steel Magnolias. And I'm sure that is a tiny, 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 tiny little theater. And you really felt like you were part of the whole production while you were sitting and watching it. And when I saw that come through, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get her on to talk about Steel Magnolias. I think it's going to be fantastic. So how do you take a production that's a play from a movie? I mean, obviously it's not going to be the full movie version. How do you pare that down and decide what scenes stay and what scenes go?
Well, that's what I have to ask. So Steel Magnolias was actually a play before it was a movie. So Robert Harling, the playwright, is actually based off of his real life sister, Susan, that he had renamed Shelby in the movie. So it's based off of her life, his mother and his sister. And he wrote this when he was fairly young and still in college. And so he wrote it as a play, and then it was developed into a movie. So over the years, playwrights have the options to add on or to take away, but this pretty much has been untouched script-wise for plays. The movie added a lot of things, and that's primarily because they added different locations. So it didn't all take place in the beauty shop. Unlike the Queen Latifah version with Alfre Woodard and Felicia Rashad that was done, and I think it was 2014, when that was done, they did it primarily in the beauty shop. So they kind of stuck with the play scenario, but they also had a Broadway director, Kenny Leon. So that makes sense that he would stay true to the theatrical view of it. So it was fairly easy because we just had to follow what was already set in the script.
Joanne, how hard was it to get into character? I mean, is it something that you already felt connected to that character anyway? What's it like to suddenly take on a role like this?
Funny story about that. This is my second time doing this production. I originally played Weezer at another community theater in the area several years ago. And like you, this has been one of my top 10 movies that I've seen in my life. I love the story, the friendship, just everything about it. So it was, and funny story also, several years ago, I actually auditioned at Selah for LaTasha when she was thinking of doing it again, when Selah was still in Front Royal. And I was lucky enough then to have been cast as Malin, but unfortunately that production never came to be. So now here we are in 2021, auditioned again. And of course, in these times, the auditions are always mostly through Zoom. So we went through the audition process. So I was very happy to be able to tackle this role, which is very different from Weezer. Weezer was very fun to play and very lighthearted and very, Malin obviously is although she does get her shots in, she has some comedic moments for sure, but her role in this at this point is obviously as Shelby's mother, who is going through this, it's much more of a dramatic role. So I've had to tap into some emotions that are difficult, but I welcome the challenge. It's been a different kind of role for me, but it's been one that I have enjoyed the challenge of.
And Jessica, I've heard that when an actor takes on a role, that they sometimes try to become that person. They get in the mind of the person that they're playing the role for. What do you do to prepare when you're taking on a role like this?
I mostly just like reread the script a bunch of times and try and figure out what is she thinking in this moment? What is making her say this? Why does she feel like this? And then like try and create a backstory a little bit and, try and take in everything so I can make sure that I'm portraying it in a way that's like clear so that she has a motivation and then that the purpose is like coming through.
Have you been in other productions for Selah in the past?
I've been in probably 12 productions here, but never another Steel Magnolias.
LaTasha, how hard is it doing auditions over Zoom? I mean, I imagine it's difficult for you to try and really kind of see what they're trying to bring across. Never mind how hard it's got to be for them to project that on a screen versus being able to do it in person.
Right. So the chemistry is hard to pin together. I actually had a very hard time casting this show. We had a lot of great reads. And so the one thing I usually feed off of as a stage director is chemistry and how that works with two people in the room. So I had to just go with my gut with casting this. So that was probably the most difficult part. That was my first time ever having to cast over Zoom and ever having to cast primarily just on my gut and not with actually seeing the actors being able to physically communicate with each other. The beauty about theater and the beauty about what we're able to do and accomplish as artists is to use our body language. And so that is huge and super important to a character. And the one thing I kept saying to these ladies is, how does your character move? How does your character walk? How does your character hold their head? Just different aspects, because that was just, we're all kind of out of practice, including me in directing. And a lot of us have done Zoom readings and videos and stage and all of that fun stuff. So getting back to actually being connected with each other physically was an integral part of the process. So yeah, that was probably the most difficult part about auditioning on Zoom.
And it's funny because so many businesses that I have talked to over the last year have talked about how helpful Zoom has been, how it has allowed them to do things that they couldn't have done otherwise, and that they will probably continue using it going into the afterlife of this pandemic. But I'm guessing probably not for you. You'll probably want to go back because you really do need that in-person chemistry.
Yeah, you do need that in-person chemistry. The one thing I will say about Zoom, as far as the good aspects of it, is that if an actor can't make it, that is another option for them to either come in via Zoom or to read via Zoom or, whatever. Or if I have different people and different aspects of life and they just can't meet physically, then that's another aspect. The other thing too is with our classes. So I have some students that, let's say that they had a positive COVID test at school, not them, but a classmate or something, and they have to be quarantined or whatever is happening, or they have a sniffle or whatever it may be, we can still meet on Zoom and still be able to communicate with each other that way, as opposed to canceling the class or them not getting their full tuition's worth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So you kind of make it work for you in whatever ways you need it to work.
Right. Like I said, you really have, with COVID, you've really had to think outside of the box of how to make things work. Theater is something that is a huge passion of mine. So, you got to make it work. You got to make any circumstance, pandemic, crisis, whatever, make it work, because everything that we've done during the pandemic has been artistic, whether it's TikTok or watching more videos at home or watching film or whatever, everything we've done has been connected to the creative world. So it's definitely an essential to this pandemic.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but you're exactly right. We all got back in touch with the arts probably a lot more than we even realized we were doing during this pandemic. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to do a cliffhanger. So when we come back, will you give me the days, the times, the admission, how it's going to work for this production of Steel Magnolias? That way people have to stick around through the commercial break.
Awesome. Yes.
We're going to do all of that when we come back. We are on the Zoom screen with LaTasha Do'zia. She is the artistic director at Selah Theatre Project. Joining us on the screen is Joanne Thompson and Jessica Arnold. They are both in the production. We're going to get details for how you can get tickets to watch when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Got a financial decision to make or a goal to reach, but you don't know where to start? You've come to the right place. Introducing Quick Money Chats with the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program. Visit tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat to schedule a virtual chat with a staff member or trained volunteer. We won't tell you what to do, but we will give you the tools you need to choose wisely. And because Virginia Cooperative Extension is part of Virginia Tech and Virginia State, your land-grant universities, you can be sure that our information is credible and trustworthy. And you'll know that we aren't trying to sell you something. Maybe you want to improve your credit score, or reduce your banking overdraft fees, or even figure out if you can afford to buy that car. Sorting through tons of information on the internet can be overwhelming, and sometimes it can be hard to know who to trust. Schedule a Quick Money Chat and get the information you need to take action. Go to tinyurl.com/quickmoneychat and get financial education personalized for you.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. It is Tourism Tuesday with a twist. You're not even going to have to leave your house and be a tourist to enjoy the topic that we're talking about today. We are pre-recording on the Zoom screen with LaTasha Do'zia. She is the artistic director at Selah Theatre Project. Joining us is Joanne Thompson and Jessica Arnold. They are both in the production of Steel Magnolias. LaTasha, when is it playing? How can I get tickets? Give me all the important information.
Sure. So Steel Magnolias is playing on May 14th, 15th, and the 16th, and the following week, the 21st through the 23rd. Friday and Saturday performances are at 7 p.m., and Sunday performances are at 3. So we are still treating it like it's a live production. You can get your tickets. It's $15 per device. So if it's one device and you have 12 people watching, you just have to pay for that one device. That's just per our license agreement with Steel Magnolias and Dramatist. So tickets are available at www.selahtheatreproject.org/magnolias. And there's a lot of great opportunities also available on our website as well following Steel Magnolias, but we really hope that you just help and support the arts with May 14th through the 16th and 21st through the 23rd.
So when I go and buy my ticket, how will I know how to then access to be able to watch the production? Is it a simple process?
It's a very simple process. So you go, you purchase your ticket, and you will receive a receipt with your information. Everyone has a password in order to go back onto our website on the date that you have purchased and the time that you have purchased. And once you click on that link, you put in your password and you have your own private access to the show. You have 3 hours to watch the show. And then after that, you won't have access to it any longer.
Well, you can pay another $15 and watch it over and over again.
You can totally do that.
And I was chatting with somebody probably midway through this pandemic, although some would argue that we might still be midway through this pandemic. But we were talking about the webinars and doing things on TV or on our computers. So I want to make sure that people understand that if you're logging in on a laptop or a tablet and you have an HDMI cable that you can plug directly from your computer into your television, then you can watch this production on your TV, not on a teeny tiny little laptop screen. So I always like to point that out when we're talking about these kinds of things.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to have a watch party at my house, so it will be hooked up to the TV.
Yeah, some computer, my laptop, actually, I can cast to my television. And you can also, if you pull it up on your phone, I think most smartphones these days, or whatever they're called, you can also cast to your television, to your smart TV if you have one. So that's also a way to see it bigger than just on a smaller screen.
Our TV in our living room is a Roku TV. So yeah, I have the app and all I have to do is pull it up on my phone and say send to and pick what screen I want to send it to. So I think it's fantastic. So, Joanne, what was the hardest thing for you to wrap your head around? When you were taking on this role, what was the toughest thing for you to feel like you could connect with?
It's actually a couple things. The toughest thing, as LaTasha said earlier, having been off the stage for over a year now, the toughest thing, quite honestly, was getting back in the practice of line memorization. That was, having done Zoom and stage readings and other things where I haven't necessarily had to memorize lines, getting my brain back, especially as an older person, getting my brain back into the groove of memorizing lines was difficult. And it didn't take a lot for me to really connect to Malin. I am a mother, first of all. And second of all, I'm not going to give anything away for anyone that is not familiar with the story, but a lot of what she goes through, I have been through, not with my own daughter, but with another very close family member. So it was not hard for me to tap into Malin's emotions as to how she's feeling at any given point in the play. Thankfully, it seems weird to say you're thankful for something bad that happened, but it has helped me. And things like that do help actors. Your real life experiences help you tap into the emotions. So for me, if I had to pick one thing that was hard, just trying to tap into Malin and trying to find a way to represent her without being Sally Field or anyone else. Trying to tap into who Malin is as Joanne is bringing her to you. So that's probably been the most difficult, that and the line memorization.
Yeah, that would get me out of the starting gate. I don't think I could remember that at all. No way. How about for you, Jessica? What was the toughest thing for you taking on this role?
For me, Annelle changes a lot throughout the show. Every scene, she's a little bit different. By the end, she's very different. So having to make it clear that she's changing a lot and show her growth and all of her new character traits and what she's into at this point was a little bit of a struggle.
What was your favorite thing about this role?
She is very eccentric. She's kind of strange, and I think that's really fun.
How about you, Joanne? What was your favorite thing about playing Malin?
I love that Malin is such an interesting mix of strong, like Malin's character is not one that you would think of who would be funny necessarily. But I love that she gets in some really good digs. She's a little passive aggressive. I enjoy that. But I love the lighter side of Malin. That's been fun to play, and connecting with my onstage daughter, because while I knew her previously, we had not acted together before. And so finding our groove, our rhythm, our comfort zone I've enjoyed that. And I feel like now we're at a place, definitely, well, I certainly hope so. We're at a place now where we have grown since our very first rehearsal where we had to hug. So getting to work with this cast of women has been really, because I've not been in a production with any of these women before in this cast. So it's been lovely getting to know them and working with them.
LaTasha, before we started recording for the show, we were running through a list of things that we wanted to make sure we touched on. And one of them was the governor's ban that basically has been lifted a little bit, which is allowing you guys to bring these actors together to do this production in person. What was that like that first day when everybody shows up on set and they're like finally in front of each other's faces?
So I think we all, and it was the same with my classes, it's this social awkwardness that happened at the very beginning, because it's like, ooh, you're very aware that not everyone is on the same comfort level as you are. Not everyone's in the same, mindset as you are, with where we are in the pandemic. So you're very cautious and very aware, you want to hug and you want to do all of these things. And so it's very socially awkward. And so people started to say what they were comfortable with outright, because I think we all felt it at the very beginning. And I was very aware as directing, like, ooh, I'm going to touch you right now. So, okay, is that okay? just, asking for consent for everything that involved, invading personal space. So, so that was a bit different and strange. Usually when you get a group of actors back for the first time, they're all, whoa, let's go, and this one, I think everyone was just a little bit timid at first, but now they're really into their groove. We've already started recording for this. We've done recording for this, and they're really, really into it and engaged with each other and understanding of each other and where each other's characters are coming from. So it was a different process at the very beginning, but as we're all getting back into the groove, it's slowly matured.
And I think this is going to be one of those productions where you guys, it's kind of like we always joke about our college roommate or our high school reunions and people that we've stayed in touch with all along. I think this is going to be one of those things that because of how you all came together initially, it's a bond that you're all going to have. And you may have to do this Steel Magnolias like every 5 years, just because we need to bring it back and do it with this original cast that was post-pandemic.
Yeah, the first production post-pandemic. Yeah, that would be cool.
So you've mentioned a few times the summer camps. Tell me about some of the other things that Selah has going on aside from this particular production of Steel Magnolias.
So our young artists who have, I would want to say, suffered the most, without artistic outlet, they're finally back in the groove with rehearsals and all of that fun stuff. We're doing Schoolhouse Rock Junior live. So if you ever grew up with Schoolhouse Rock, I still have my VHSs somewhere, believe it or not, the different sets. This is a great nostalgic moment, and it's introducing a new generation to Schoolhouse Rock, but with a plot. Who knew? So our young artists, they are middle school and high school, are putting on a production. They will be the first group to perform in front of a live audience. And that goes up June 5th and June 6th. And tickets will be up for that very soon, if not already. And then we have our summer camps. So we are doing something different this summer. Instead of doing our traditional summer camps, this will still be day camps. We're doing 2 actual productions. So we're trying to slowly start our summer stock. So our first production is going to be A Little Princess, directed by Kat Sparger. And the second production is going to be Godspell Jr., which is directed by Dolly Stevens. Both great directors, great enthusiasts, and great theater stage directors. We'll be working with 5th grade and up for both of those summer camps, and they are auditioning now as we speak, sending in their video submissions. And if you're late to the ball game, you can always contact us, LaTasha or Clinton at SelahTheatreProject.org, and we'll help you get connected with the directors.
I think it's fantastic. I'm so glad that it seems like a little bit of normal is coming back, especially for our kids who have missed out, like you mentioned, so much, not just in school, but they've been stuck at home with their parents. That there might be, my kid tells me he's 26 and living in Pennsylvania right now and tells me how grateful he is that he was not quarantined at home in this house every single time we text.
I know a lot of parents that have complained or said, oh my gosh, I've been with my kid for so long, but the kids are thinking the exact same thing. And not even the kids. I know my dogs personally are like, when are you going back away? You're here all the time. So yeah, it's definitely affecting our kids. So we're happy to be back and to support our young artists.
So tell me one more time, where can people get tickets to Steel Magnolias and what are the show dates and times?
So the website is www.SelahTheatreProject.org/Magnolias. And production goes up May 14th through the 16th and May 21st through the 23rd. Friday and Saturday productions are at 7 p.m. and Sunday productions are at 3 p.m. So it's still a live production. You still have to show up for your showtime that you purchased your ticket for, but you have 3 hours to watch the production.
And people can follow you. You're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're on all the social medias.
We're on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat even, and Twitter.
And SelahTheatreProject.org is where to go online. So ladies, thank you so much for taking some time to have a chat with me about this today. I cannot wait to see the production.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
We will be back tomorrow. I will have a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you just a few minutes after noon. Can't tell you who it's going to be yet because I haven't recorded it. So you're just going to have to wait and find out tomorrow. Meet me here then.